Hey everybody, and thanks for tuning in to the first episode of LimitBreakers on KCOD Coachella FM, where the goal of this show is to interview young people doing amazing things and see how they break their limits and push their boundaries. On today's episode, we're interviewing a young playwright and actor in the making. So stay tuned, because we're going to trace the steps and find out what it takes to be in the league of Cameron Keys. All right, welcome to the show, Cameron. Thanks for sitting with us today.
Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
All right, and before we get started here today on Limit Breakers, our first task for the talent is pretty simple. Introduce yourself the way you want the world to remember you.
That's a pretty big question, but I guess I can start with how I want to be remembered right now. And I guess I'd start with I'm a local actor. I'm starting to get my bearings on writing. I hope to be able to call myself a playwright at some point, and potentially a director and a stage manager, depending on who you ask.
Right. Well, you'd be happy to know, when I introduced you earlier, we already called you a playwright. I see you as a playwright already. Love you, man. All right, so I strongly believe that when you're famous, you're going to be a product of the work you create, the same way the work you create is a product of you. So what would your product disclaimer label say if somebody were to pick you up like a carton of milk and read you?
I'd say the way that I go about a lot of my art is a lot different from the artists that I take as role models and stuff. But as for what I stand for right now, as for the roles that I've been a part of is kind of, it's a lot different from what I want to become and what I want to potentially be a part of. Because right now, as an actor, as an 18-year-old kid with a middle part and blue eyes, there's a very specific range of what you're able to be a part of.
I can imagine, right?
Yeah, but when you look at Willem Dafoe, who gets to be in the Florida Project and movies like that, because of the repertoire that he's built up by using the image that he's created for himself, you see that you start to be able to access some of that otherwise wouldn't be accessible if you hadn't used that. So while I'm not necessarily delighted that I have this range of acting roles or abilities, roles to go after, you have to do that. You have to go after those roles so that you can, one, build up your repertoire, build up your resume, and two, prepare yourself for the bigger jobs that you're going to have eventually.
I like that disclaimer. So it's disclaimer, my resume is not who I am, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. I freaking love that answer. All right, let's keep going on to the general question phase. All right, Cameron. So welcome to question phase 1, just general questions, man. So we'll get started. How much does your work make up your personality, would you say? A random percentage, rather.
I'd say it's probably about 50%. You meet a lot of theater kids who, their only personality is what... No shade, not being mean or anything, but...
No, yeah, you're just being honest.
If you play Hamilton soundtracks in your car, I don't want to get in your car. But, no, it definitely a lot of influence on my personality just because it's what I'm really passionate about, so it's going to reflect in my day-to-day and what I enjoy doing. But I also think there needs to be a little bit of separation between the two, so that you can establish yourself, who you are and who you're advertising as an actor or a writer, so that we're not just factory workers being marched in and out of roles. I feel like just maintaining a little bit of an outside presence as well. So yeah, I think 50% of my work makes up my personality.
That's a good percent right there. It's not too much, it's not too little. and then you still have an individual identity outside of your work. And I think that's a really important thing to have. So how did you get started in theater in general?
So I was homeschooled from like pre-K to the 7th grade. So like I started when I was about 7 at a co-op thing. I was a butterfly. I had like 11 lines. I was like piling them on. I memorized them every night, and I got on stage and it was time to sing the butterfly song, and I froze. And that was bad. I like froze. And then the ant person was like, "Aren't we going to the picnic?"
Right, like cueing
The
you.
picnic, and I left. We left the play, and we didn't turn. Like, I was on my mom's shoulders, and we dipped. I don't even know what happened in that show.
Really? So you kind of like blacked
Yeah,
out?
no, we left.
Oh.
We just left.
Oh my gosh.
So I was like, okay, maybe I'll just try sports, but those don't work for me. So I tried it again when I was like 9, and I memorized the entire script for The Wizard of Oz,
Oh jeez.
because apparently that was what we were doing. And then the production didn't go through, and then we didn't do the show.
Oh man.
But I knew kind of from that point that it was something that I really wanted to do. So my 7th grade year, after going to a couple of summer camps at Palm Canyon Theater, I auditioned for Lost in Yonkers at Desert Theater Works. And that was probably the first time, aside from memorizing a script that I didn't need to memorize when I was 10, that really started me, because now I was in an official role in an official theater, and really just kind of made sense, like, okay, this is what I want to do now. This is what I want to be a part of.
Right. I love that story, by the way. Just going ahead and leaving. I can kind of see your parents just like, all right, it's time to head out, guys.
We never went back.
Oh my God. So, with moments like that actually being the hinge point of the next question, what keeps you going in this? Because, I'm sure there are other moments like that.
Well, I don't think I've had a moment like the butterfly disaster.
I love how it's got an incident name.
Yeah.
Butterfly incident.
I haven't thought about that one in a while. No, but what keeps me going? I guess just the initial desire to keep doing it. At first it was acting, and I really wanted to act, and I wanted to be an actor. And then as I started going to high school and like having challenging English classes and getting into an actual theater class, that's when it kind of, after like writing original skits for showcases and stuff, I started to really get into writing and really appreciate that aspect of theater. And just it's interesting how you can build off of the two, and as a writer get better as an actor find a greater and deeper appreciation, more meat for your writing.
Right.
Yeah, honestly, it's just I really want to discover how far I can go in the industry and where it can take me, and if I'll be able to kind of push past Blue Eyes middle parts to Willem Dafoe or Christopher Waltz type parts. That's really just what's kind of fueling me right now.
That is an amazing thing, and that's actually that'll link into our next question in question phase 2, but we'll be right back before we dive into those questions. So on that earlier note you were talking about, how do you plan on breaking that barrier, that limit of how people perceive you currently?
I think it's important to just the more roles that you do, the more opportunities you're going to have to face more difficult parts. And it's not to say that I'm not appreciative for the roles that I get, no matter what they are. It is still a role, and it still gives you an opportunity to explore someone else's life, someone else's personality, how you can better integrate your acting style into another person. because at the end of the day, it is still a role, and you are still being faced with the challenge of becoming another person.
Right.
So the more you do that, the more opportunities you get to get better at that, and pretty soon you get to not only be someone that's something that someone recognizes, but something that someone can look at and see multiple roles. Because a lot of times you look at like no hate towards The Rock, but
Right. He has no versatility.
yeah, The Rock isn't going to be an insecure like librarian who has like schizophrenia.
No, he's like the action hero that comes in and saves everybody almost every time.
Yeah, I don't want that. I don't want to. I'm sure fame would be nice, but I want to be able to explore as many different roles and as many different types of people as I can.
That's a great way to think about it. You know, the versatility of an actor is what they'll be remembered for when they either run out of work or when they pass on. You know, like Morgan Freeman, you're going to remember him for the rest of his life and your life. Yeah. Yeah, his versatility, he's everywhere, and I can see that happening for you because you have that mindset. You're prepared to go into that. So, what's the first obstacle you can think of coming into your work, like as early as you can remember?
I'd probably say kind of like a challenging role. Like the first time I had a role that made me really start thinking was probably sophomore year. Palm Canyon Theater has, I think it's annually, they do Del Shores' play called Sordid Lives. It was a semi-successful indie movie, but it's like a really big event in the desert. Like people get really excited for when it rolls around. And my sophomore year, we also did Yellow, which was another Del Shores production about this kid who falls in love with his best friend's older brother who gets jaundice and like dies.
Oh wow. That's dark.
So it also takes place in like Texas, where you're not allowed to be, gay is kind of taboo in a lot of places.
Right,
it's a really kind of conservative Christian area, and that's what the character's mom was.
Oh wow.
And it was just
that's a loaded movie.
Yeah, it was the first
thing, yeah.
It was the first time where I really had to like dig into someone else's head in a situation where that person really, there are people like that, and there are people who are going through that still.
Right.
And just all aspects of it was difficult, but I'm so appreciative that I got to do that and that I got to experience that.
Yeah, that sounds like a very rewarding risk and reward experience, right? Like going into it, well, what do I do if I mess up?
Yeah.
And, there's a lot of people in the Valley to impress in your field, especially, and that's a hard role to go into and shoulder all of that. Like, oh, I can do it. Light work, right?
Yeah.
So, what do you do when you overcome any limit? Like, do you have a process that you go in and it's like, all right, we're going to do this, this, and this, and we're going to beat this roadblock?
No.
No, man, be honest.
Honestly, just trying every which way I can to see how outside and external factors change a person into the character that's being reflected in whatever play or monologue is being performed. But no, I don't have like a Matthew McConaughey chest bump warm up or anything like that. It's just kind of playing with my psyche until I find something.
Yeah, that right there is a method within itself.
Yeah.
Like, you'll be writing and you have to sit there and think about what you're writing about, right?
Yeah.
And kind of get into a way different headspace. You can be totally like happy going into writing and then be depressed and sad and angry even when you come out of that room in that headspace.
Oh yeah.
It's a beautiful mental space, So how have you changed since you encountered your limits in your work?
I think you take a little bit from every experience you have, but I think once you start really getting committed towards wanting to improve the value of your work, I noticed I started to be less lazy, for one. All aspects of my work ethic are starting to improve.
You were working harder to get farther.
Yeah, instead of just thinking like, oh, well, this was easy for me in like middle school and elementary, and now I can still kind of cakewalk through things in high school. It gets you don't get very far. You can get to a certain point, but that's all you're going to get to.
Right.
Talent's cool. Being talented is cool. I consider myself somewhat talented. But if you don't work hard and you don't have any work ethic to go along with your talent, then your talent means absolutely nothing.
Right. And I'm going to boast on your amazing resume real quick, but you've been to the National Shakespeare Competition twice, and that's freaking amazing. And, I remember the conversation we had when you were going back the second time. Mm-hmm. And you said to me something that stuck with me for like years afterwards. That was like 2 years ago now. Mm-hmm. And you said, I'm going to keep working harder to get farther in the placing. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what a lad, what a unit.
Well, because that first year, I got to the finals for the school. I represented the school, and then I went to go compete in regionals, and I got demolished. I did not get far. I got like 4th place out of 5.
And that was your first time, right?
Yeah, that was my sophomore year, and then I remember we had do you remember the New York trip that the school went on?
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, so I went and I actually looked at the place that I would have performed that April if I had won. And I just kind of was like, okay.
That's a cathartic experience.
Yeah, I'm coming back here.
Yeah, that's a cathartic experience right there. Looking at where you could have made.
Yeah.
And just like, wow, well, it's time to go back to the workshop, right?
Yeah, and then I went junior year. I didn't win there, but it was definitely the first time I like told myself I was going to do something, and then I did it. That's
freaking amazing. So we're going to take a break, and then when we get back, we're going to hit you guys with the lightning round. Just some random questions to get to know our buddy Cameron a lot better, get to know him. And stay tuned to KCOD, Coachella FM, for more great content. Hey everybody, we'd just like to take a quick minute to thank the Palm Springs Boys and Girls Club for everything they do for our valley, from their community service efforts to their amazing summer camp program. For more information on their endless services, visit www.bgcps.org. I'll repeat, www.bgcps.org. All right, everybody, welcome back to Limit Breakers here on KCOD, Coachella FM, with our first guest, Cameron Keys.
Hello, how's it going?
And you are in question phase 3, Cameron, the lightning round.
All right, sounds good.
So how it works is it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. We'll just ask them rapid fire. You answer as fast as you can.
Okay.
And we'll get it rolling quick. All right, are you ready, sir?
As ready as I might be.
Good answer. All right, favorite animal?
Sea lion.
Favorite play?
Death of a Salesman.
Ooh, favorite musical?
I don't really like musicals, but
that's fair.
Phantom of the Opera.
All right, your role model?
I got a couple, but Willem Dafoe's definitely up there.
Oh, that's a good
acting,
one.
Yeah.
I like that one. Your favorite color?
Light purple.
Your favorite snack?
Have you ever had like a Spam Musubi?
No, what'd you call me? What's a Musubi?
Dude, it's so good. Okay,
Please, yeah, go ahead.
Snack, Spam Musubi. It's just rice, Spam, and seaweed. It's the best thing you'll ever have.
Food recommendations from Cameron Keys, ladies and gentlemen. Go try it out. Spam Musubi, right?
Yes.
Go try that out today.
I'm saying it wrong, but it's fabulous.
All right. And the final question, a drum roll from the audience, please. What would you do if you won $1 million today, right here, right now?
I don't know. I'd probably put like half of it in a stock, because apparently that works for some people, and I don't really see me doing anything better than that. Probably some
smart.
charity stuff as well, but double it, I guess.
Sir, that's wholesome. That is wholesome. All right, and that has been the lightning round, and when we get back, we'll come in with the final questions. All right, everybody, welcome back to Limit Breakers. We are coming in with the final questions with Mr. Cameron Keys.
Yep.
All right, so what are you currently working on?
Right now, with everything closed down because of COVID, I can't really do what I wanted to do and work the shows at like Desert Ensemble Theater, which is a little bit of a bummer, but you got to keep on moving on. And so right now I'm working on my associates at College of the Desert as well. So that's kind of the big thing I'm working on right now, but also trying to keep my writing sharp. So I'm testing out some ideas for some plays that I might eventually be able to put out when we come back to normality.
Yeah, I'm really excited for those plays, by the way. Those are going to be amazing, I'm sure.
We hope.
Don't we always? So, what would you say to any people younger than you trying to break into the industry?
Don't expect for people to teach you things. Don't expect for the people that you were surrounded by to be obligated to teach you things. If you want to learn more about, say, acting, if you want to get better at acting, pick up a theory book. Learn about the people that made the theory books before you. Uda Ogden is really good. If you are interested, read as much as you can. Read plays, watch movies, watch plays on YouTube. Educate yourself. Don't expect people to do it for you, or else you're going to get passed up and you're going to be like, well, what do I do now?
That's a really great way to think about it. And a lot of people automatically assume, well, oh, you're higher up than me. Teach me. No, that doesn't happen in theater, does it? No.
And you can't expect it to be good instruction either. Like if you're in community theaters or just acting at school and you have someone who's older than you or who's been in it longer than you and you're trying to receive advice or just learn from that, that can't be your only source of incoming knowledge. You need to be constantly looking for different ways to improve yourself, or the people who are going to pass you up.
Right. So, if you could say something to your 15-year-old self, what would it be?
Oh, I beat him up. I would I'd definitely beat him up. I tell him to work harder. Work hard now so that your life is easy later, so that you can keep discovering different ways to advance your art. And not only your art, your work ethic needs to be strong if you're wanting to go after your dream. You need to keep working, and when you're not working, work a little harder. And that's what I would tell my 15-year-old self after I beat him up.
After the beating up session, give him like a really insightful thing while he's like on the ground.
Yeah.
Right. No, that's a good balance. I like that. So, Cameron, before we head out today, do you have any final remarks for anybody listening?
I guess, kind of in spirit of the pandemic we're in, I just say that to the other artists out there, we can't get discouraged. We gotta keep on moving forward. We can't let the fact that nothing's really going on right now diminish the progress you can be making, whether you're a dancer or physical artist or actor, writer. You just keep on sharpening that stuff up, because I know I certainly got a little bit discouraged to get into that depressed state where you're like, well, all of this is kind of over for the time being, but this is the perfect time to train and to build up your reservoir a little bit more. So that's what I'll be doing.
Right. I was just going to say, for those people that don't know at home, Cameron and I were both seniors at Palm Springs High School, so we've kind of gone through that. We lost everything scenario in the middle of, what was supposed to be our best year.
Yeah.
So that's a really good remark right there, to tell people to literally just, keep pushing yourselves, keep performing, keep doing your art, practice at home. This quarantine can either be looked at as a plus or a minus, and it's up to you how we look at that, right?
Yeah.
So, thank you, Cameron, for coming on to the show today.
Thank you for having me. It was a bunch of fun.
Yeah, I hope you had a great time. And thank you, everybody at home, for listening and tuning in.